Hello everybody, my name is Tina Otte. I'm a registered nurse midwife and an internationally certified childbirth educator. I'm also a mother and a grandmother, and today I'd like to talk to you about the miracle of conception, something that absolutely fascinates me. I've written about it a lot, I've read a lot about it, and it still amazes me that it actually happens as frequently as it does. Let's talk about the male first, that little male sperm. He's tiny, he's microscopic. Did you know that it takes between 500 to 750 million sperm ejected into the female vaginal tract? These guys can swim. They can swim at a rate of 200 inches per second. It's quite a lot of time. It's quite fast. It's about 18 kilometers an hour. Now, have you ever wondered why so many sperm are released, and there's one, possibly two eggs that are released from the ovary? 500 million sperm to one egg or so? Well, 50% of those sperm are deformed, flawed, swimming the wrong way, and they are there to make sure that the handsome, dashing, smart, lean, racing machine of the good sperm actually have to work their way through the roadblock that the deformed sperm form. Now, this is very clever. Nature, in her wisdom, has made sure that only the most handsome, the fastest, and the smartest sperm get through and start dishing out its cell material once it reaches the sperm. But it's still all about the sperm, because it doesn't finish there. Once they find the egg, who, let's mention her quickly here, has wafted down the fallopian tube after being released from the ovary. She wafts her way down, and there's huge contractions going along to push her down. As she moves down, she gives off a chemical perfume that drives these guys mad, okay? They have one mission, all of them, and that's to find the egg. Once they find the egg, okay, there are three swimming actions that help him actually pierce her mantle. And even at that level, a woman is still picky, okay? She's only going to allow the sperm head that she wants to enter her mantle that's protecting her. So they arrive, they've got to wriggle through the mucus, they arrive at the egg, okay? They thrash about a little bit, but they're first going to wriggle their way through. So they straighten their tail, and just the tip moves. And as that happens, it's like a little propeller with a propeller head. So they start to burrow. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. They then thrash and flop around like a fish out of water. Typical male, making a big scene of himself there. That's not the end of it. They then make themselves into like a little corkscrew, and they burrow even further into that egg. And once that little nose, and this is not the only thing that's happening, his head is like a chemical warhead. He's got a lot of chemicals in there. As tiny as he is, he's microscopic. Now, him and his friends all gather around the egg, and they're all piercing her as much as they can. Only one of them usually is going to get through. That successful guy is actually going to get through, and there it is, conception happens, and the splitting of cell material already starts to take place. Initially, that first little cell, those two cells, is called a blastocyst, and that blastocyst starts to move its way down into the uterus. Once it reaches the uterus, about 7 days, it starts to embed, all the while dishing out cell inheritance. Then it starts to look like a clump of mulberries, and it's called a marula. Okay, this is all happening under your very nose, and usually you don't even know that you're pregnant. But already within 21 days of conception, a very rudimentary heart has started to form. It starts as two little tubes that pump blood forward and back, and it starts to get a little bit more advanced as it progresses. So the heart and the central nervous system, the line where the spine is going to open up, the little neural tube is already developing in something that is as tiny, it's about 4 millimeters. It's so tiny that it's amazing we can see it at all. But more about that. You know now that at 21 days, most of us don't even know we're pregnant. Some of us suspect, some of us who know our bodies very well, some of us who are very tuned into our hormones, but many of us don't. So already if you're planning to fall pregnant, preconceptual planning is quite important, because this may happen unbeknown to you, and right in those early days, in those first 3 weeks, the most crucial parts of your baby are already forming. But more about that in our next session. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about the miracle of conception.